Well, hey there, guys. Welcome to SJU. I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, it is. It's Wednesday. Today we are going to break down everything to expect from the DC FanDome on Saturday. I'm actually pretty excited about it. It looks really fun. We're going to break down what our hopes and dreams are for it, what all we want to see, everything that we know we will see, plus Del Toro cast some folks in his Wooden Boy movie, and we're going to be answering your questions in the chat. And by we, I mean Spencer J. GIlbert. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
And Eric Goldman. What beheaded toy are you holding today?
Hey. Oh, well, no, everyone's got their heads. It's just Superman and Batman. So far, everything. And they're not fighting. They're doing well.
So this is more like the third act. They've teamed up. I get it.
Yes. They've moved past their issues.
So, hey. The DC FanDome, you guys, I've actually been really excited about this since they announced it. I think we've talked ad nauseum on this show about how Marvel always beats the tar out of DC in terms of just like public relations and advertising and stuff like this. And this event, I think, is really cool, and it's the kind of thing they should have been doing all along. And I'm hoping we get a live version of the FanDome post-COVID. Are you guys kind of stoked about watching this?
Build a real dome, DC. I want a real dome next year. Look, I don't want to air too much of
fighting.
I don't want to air too much of Fandom's dirty laundry out here, but I would like the record to show that when we were developing Hey Fandom, our Q&A series, I, with all sincerity, said we should call it the FanDome, and they laughed. They laughed at me. Well, if it wasn't good enough for us, it's good enough for DC. So I am psyched for the FanDome. I hope it's a big hit.
Not only that, Spencer, not only did they laugh at you, but then they took that name, and that's what they call our annual thing where they put all of us in a room, and the last one standing is the one that gets the raise. It was a bastardization of your original idea.
I'm all about domes, you know. I think everything's better in a dome. The Thunderdome is great. Sports are better in domes. Just living that dome life. # dome life.
Yeah, no, absolutely with you. Eric, domes, no domes.
Pro domes, yeah. This pro domes.
No
also,
dome.
Yeah, this did seem like the future. COVID aside. I mean, obviously with Disney, you already had D23 Expo and Star Wars Celebration. They'd almost experimented with it several years ago when Marvel did, like, I think it was the giant Phase 3 announcement, which they did at the El Capitan Theater.
Right.
Like, we're like, bam, Civil War, bam, we're like in all these movies, including Inhumans, which didn't happen, but everything else happened. And so it just felt like this is where we're going. These giant content creators want to eventize their own stuff. Mm-hmm. And so even, yes, Comic-Con this year not happening in person probably helped facilitate this happening a lot sooner, but it does kind of seem like where we're going. If you make as much content as DC does across platforms, why not eventize it in this way and kind of bring it all together?
It makes so much more sense than to decide what you're going to cull out of your Hall H presentation and what's going to go into like 4 or 5 other much less attended panels at Comic-Con. Like, it makes so much sense to just put it all in one dome and do your thing.
Yeah, back in like 2008, you had to go to where people actually were, more or less. Like, yeah, there were websites, but it was all kind of diffused and spread around. And Comic-Con was one enormous gathering of nerds where you could find your audience. But now we're everywhere, baby. You know, we're online. We don't all need to be under one dome. That said, build that dome.
Build that dome.
Build that dome.
I'm serious. I really think you could do like a fun, just tongue-in-cheek, cheesy, it's a big dome. And then remember when Marvel had Hiddleston come out as Loki and everybody lost their minds? Like, do that.
Yeah, lower them from the top of the dome in order of importance.
Yes, like have Margot Robbie show up and ice capades it, and she rollerblades around and beats the crap out of Ewan McGregor for a minute, and then we're off to a new trailer. I honestly think it could be great. That said, let's get into this and actually break down what's happening at the FanDome, which is now taking place over 2 days. So it begins Saturday, August 22nd, and then the second day will be Saturday, September 12th. So here is what is going on this Saturday, August 22nd, at the Fandome, specifically in the Hall of Heroes. And again, I love that they're committing to the idea that this isn't just a bunch of Skype calls, that there's we're going to a physical location. I think that's absolutely great. It embraces all the cheesy parts of DC that I legitimately love. So, so starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, fans will be transported to the Hall of Heroes, an epic world designed personally by Jim Lee, which explains why it's so early 90s looking with all of the blue lasers and I'm super into it.
And a memorial to all the laid off comic creators.
Yes. We're going to get into that a little bit because that
timing,
one of the best timing for Fandom. So let's kick this thing off. So one of the big panels is called Explore the Multiverse. Oh no, I'm sorry. That is the Saturday, September 12th. I'm doing a horrible job reading through this sucker.
There's a lot in this dome, Joe. Don't worry.
Yeah, sorry guys. There's a whole lot in the dome. So here's the safe bets of what we're probably going to see over the weekend. We're going to see. We're probably going to see a first look at Wonder Woman 84. Probably going to see Batman.
At this
footage.
point, not a first look.
Say again.
Yeah, there's been a couple trailers.
At this point, not a first look.
Not a first look, but probably something new. If they're going to learn anything from my pitches, Kristen Wiig shows up as Cheetah. But we will see Batman footage, most likely, I would assume. Whatever it is that they shot before they had to stop. I'm sure they've cut together in some kind of presentation. James Gunn is confirmed we'll get a glimpse at the Suicide Squad. We know we'll get a look at Rock City Suicide Squad video game because there is a panel. But there's also a new game that they've been releasing weird puzzles and riddles about for this weird, mysterious Batman game.
Riddles, you say?
Oh. Well, I think the rumor is it was going to be the Court of Owls storyline.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be fun to play through.
Super into. That would be really, really cool. And then The Rock is showing up with some Black Adam stuff. So those are some of the big movie things that we know we can expect. In terms of big screen stuff, what are you guys hoping to see? What are you into? What are you hoping to hold back on?
I think I'm most personally excited by Suicide Squad, which we should remember is, besides Wonder Woman, the other movie that actually 100% completed filming. So, they'll probably have something, even though that movie's a year out, they can show us some pretty cool stuff from Suicide Squad. Plus, I'm just excited. As much as I hated the first Suicide Squad movie, the fact that they're doing this weird pseudo-sequel with James Gunn taking over, it's just intriguing, and I'm excited to see what they're doing with. And after Birds of Prey, which I loved, I'm kind of more hyped up on that. So that's the thing I'm personally, as much as I love Batman, I love Matt Reeves, we've seen a lot of Batman, guys. So Suicide Squad's what I'm excited for.
We have seen a good amount of Batman. Spencer?
And yet, the answer is always more Batman. Mostly just because I love Matt Reeves, like you said. The Apes movies are so good, and our Pats is he's a big question mark. I mean, I think he'll be good as a great actor, but you can't tell till he's in the cowl and doing the growl. So I think that
the cowl and the growl,
cowl and the growl, baby.
It's just as just as a person who thinks about stuff like this, it's just such a creative challenge to how do you reinvent Batman? How do you separate himself from the 17 odd filmed iterations we've had already? So that to me actually has the most curiosity, but also something brand new like The Rock as Black Adam. That could be fun.
The Rock
I say brand new, we don't already have Shazam and haven't seen a million Rock movies, but
sure. But look, the dude puts on a show, and that'll be a cool panel somehow. The Rock will make sure that is a very cool, memorable thing. That's a guy who always sets out to steal the show. So I'm curious to see how he does that via a Skype call.
Yeah.
And about 10 years after he was announced to play this role.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And I am surprised that I'm saying it. I am excited about Suicide Squad because I think James Gunn is just the kind of director to do it. Someone who gets sort of grindhouse and low budget murder people ridiculously with squibs kind of filmmaking. I think he's the dude. But it's been a while since stuff made me interested and excited for a Batman movie. And when I saw the Batmobile and him on the motorcycle for this one, it was like I was seeing the Batman Returns in '89 Batmobile like revealed on a poster for the first time again when I was a kid, and I was just like instantly drawn in on this like muscle car take they're doing. So I'm really intrigued and really excited to see what Matt Reeves is up to.
It'll just also be interesting with stuff like Black Adam or the Flash movie, which we have to keep mentioning movie or TV shows since they're both going to be present.
Right.
But since those haven't filmed at all, it'll be interesting to see like how much production art they bring, you know, how do they eventize those in this setting. So I feel like they'll probably show us some cool, like, check out this image, you know, to blow your mind. To, you know, if you're doing the panels for those movies that are right now not even filming.
Well, do you think they'll do some kind of, official thing with the Keaton story that broke a little while back?
I would hope so. I feel like that's, you know, obviously a big reveal. Like that everything, they've already admitted that movie is a Flashpoint movie, which opens up the doors in the multiverse. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, if you officially announce Keaton, even though you cannot hear the applause of everyone at home, I think that'd be. Plus, by the way, we still have Mystery Val Kilmer on some panel. Like, it's got to be a Batman Forever thing of some sort, but is it also maybe he'll pop up in something? There's some actors that we still don't know what they're going to be on. Like Anthony Rapp, there's like a bunch of random actors that are listed that I don't know what panels they're supposed to be on.
I would assume probably. I mean, look, unless they're going to blow the doors off the multiverse and be like, it's all connected, and we're going to see the Val Kilmer Batman like punch Joaquin Phoenix in the face. I would assume it's probably some kind of retrospective on the movie. They had a big anniversary this year.
It's just weird because there's no official panel like announced for like there's other panels looking back at stuff, but so that one's kind of a mystery floating out there.
Wow, interesting. We've got some responses from the chat on what's going on. Scott Summers, maybe some Marvel bias showing because he's the leader of the X-Men. Black Adam does not deserve a solo movie.
Wow. He's going to be sharing with Shazam, right? Or no?
I don't think, they could announce Zachary Levi's in the movie too, but it sounds like this movie is a Black Adam movie that will obviously
separate from Shazam too. Yeah, their pitch, as per everything they've said, is like those are two separate movies, but obviously they're going to intertwine to some extent.
Yeah, and honestly, I would have told you a couple years ago that Aquaman and Shazam didn't deserve solo movies either, and here we are, and I love both of those movies.
Yeah, maybe there is something to giving the villain their own movie until they meet the hero. I think that if we did that with, Malekith, then we probably would have had a better Thor at the end of it.
Right. There's Henry Cavill flying around at some point too, and that's a Black Adam fighting Superman could be.
That'd be cool.
Right, with the supposed Superman cameos. They're
we should mention there are panels for Aquaman and Shazam that I'm sure will have some sort of teases for their sequels, Mm-hmm. But again, is it just, we've got great stuff in store for you, or is it like a big, and it's going to be this villain and we've cast this person? It's not quite clear how much we'll get.
Adam Holbert's in agreement with Spencer. He doesn't care if it's just 30 seconds. I'm very excited for the Batman teaser. Really just want to hear Pat's Batman voice. I agree. The growl. It's all about the growl and the cow. That's going to be the moment that really cements it, you guys. Have you seen the trailer for what is it? The Devil All the Time on Netflix? Him and Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Where he's the Southern preacher. What if that was the voice? his whiny Southern preacher voice.
Very refreshing.
Yeah, I think it's time for a new take on the growl. So on the TV side, we're expecting some Harley Quinn announcements around the animated series. There is an Ask Harley Quinn panel. Eric, are you expecting anything big out of that? That show's definitely been a pretty big hit for DC and HBO Max.
Yeah. So here's where I put on my my detective glasses, which is just that I thought for sure, they're going to announce season 3 at this because animation obviously has a long lead time. They're probably already working on it. They'll just announce it at the same because Harley Quinn has 2 things happening. It has that Ask Harley Quinn, which is like the animated version, and then they actually have a full panel for the show. But then one of the co-creators the other day, I saw him tweeting along. He was tweeting with Stephen DeKnight, the TV show writer who was saying how much he loved the show. And he's like, yeah, we haven't gotten news yet from HBO Max on a season 3. And I thought, it'd be weird for him to be telling this other showrunner we don't know yet. So now I'm like, I guess maybe they don't know, but then it just seems weird for her to have such a big presence at this. But who knows?
I mean, there's always the kayfabe too. They're playing it up.
Yeah.
For the dome. Always play it up for the dome.
Save your best reveals for the dome. Come on, people.
Best reveals for the dome. In general, Eric, I know you've been sort of keeping your eye on a lot of this stuff. In general, we're expecting a lot of sort of state of the union on the future of DC in general on HBO Max. What shows are finally going to land there. The future of the DC Universe app, which is mostly, I think, on HBO Max by now. There's a couple shows that aren't, correct?
Well, yeah. So there was a recent Jim Lee interview where he basically said, after all the layoffs and everything happened, that, all the original content is moving to HBO Max, which really just left Young Justice and Titans as like the lost children at this point. Mm-hmm. I thought it was interesting that when they made this separation today and decided to split it over 2 days, they moved pretty much all the TV shows are on the second date in September, except The Flash. And that made sense to me because I think The Flash is easily kind of the biggest hit they have of all the TV shows. But the other one they kept on Saturday, this Saturday, was Titans. And that kind of stood out to me because I don't think Titans gets like tremendous buzz. I feel like Doom Patrol gets more. But Titans, maybe that'll at least be part of it, is the official, yes, we're moving to HBO Max. Like, yes, this show will now be, even though we kind of already know it, it just feels like that they'll kind of like up things a little bit with that panel by talking about that a little more directly.
Joe, we lost Joe.
Oh no! I just thought he was like stunned.
I thought he was really taking that one in.
He's like, I just got to think about this guy.
Really blowing up the Titans lead on that one.
Amazing.
Titans fan. Well, while we're waiting on Joe, I will say one other thing I've observed about these panels is a lot of them are really short. Like I think Black Adam's like 15 minutes. Even the Snyder Cut's like 25 minutes, which isn't the bad thing. I think that they're going to keep these things tight and just kind of like bullet point through.
I mean, that's refreshing because the thing they're missing is the live Q&A, which is no one's favorite part of these panels. I mean, sometimes something fun happens, but mostly it's somebody like, I have a question that's more of a comment. And then they tell you about their ideas for the show. Hey, Joe's back.
Hey, sorry about that, boys. I mean, at this point, it wouldn't be this show if my cat didn't bite my hand or if I just didn't have internet like a normal. Sorry about that.
There's an elephant in the room that I don't think we've talked about yet, and
we have not.
His name is one Zacharias J. Snyder.
Oh yeah, let's talk cuts, baby.
And his rumored cut. If they don't throw some meat to the fans in that dome, can you even call it a fandome if you don't have anything Snyder Cutty in there?
We'll bring the dome down. I will call it.
There will be a virtual riot. No, he's posting all those little screenshots and stuff. So he's just ready to Snyder cut our asses off. With this stuff.
Well, what does that mean? Are we going to get a trailer? I
think we'll get a trailer. Yeah, I think we'll get some sort of sizzle. We shouldn't even say trailer, a sizzle reel, as they call it for these.
I'm assuming too. We're going to get some kind of like. I think the sizzle reel, my expectation is to be, I'm competing with the recycling truck. We're going to get some kind of like, it's a sit down with Zack Snyder, sort of a retrospective of this whole journey, cut to new footage. Because really, I think for the, especially the fan base that has absolutely been just like marching for this thing forever, I think, the Zack Snyder of it all is just as important as the end product. So I think it'll probably be a pretty like Snyder intensive, like here's the journey, kind of sizzle.
Yeah, and then I think that I bet we'll probably get a healthy dose of the cast on that panel popping up and saying how excited they are to see his cut. Maybe Ray Fisher will be there to talk about how much he hates Joss Whedon. We'll see.
If only. That's why you have a dome, you guys. Joss Whedon can come out to talk about the Batgirl movie he doesn't get to make anymore, and then Jim Ross can be like, "My God, whose music is that? It's Ray Fisher! Oh God!" And stunner.
I was thinking more of like they like sew him into a bear suit and burn him, like more of what's it? Not Hereditary. What's the other one?
Midsummer.
Fitting end.
More of a Wicker Man, not the Bees situation, but with Joss Whedon.
With Joss Whedon. Good Lord. Remember when he was on top, baby?
By the way, as an aside, he has a new show coming for HBO and HBO Max. So Warner Media must be like, guys, can we not? Right?
Can we not? Thanks.
Huh.
Well, let's keep talking cuts, because if we're going to get cut crazy, let me throw this past you guys. We're going to get an Ayer cut announcement?
I don't think ever. I'm willing to eat my words on this one, but I don't think we will ever see an Ayer cut.
Yeah, that one feels like, yes, obviously he's gotten some people behind that, but right now I feel like they're going to want to focus on their Snyder Cut messaging and focus on other, the new Suicide. So that's the thing, is like they're not trying to promote Justice League, the theatrical version, alongside the Snyder Cut. With Suicide Squad, they have a new Suicide Squad movie already and a game. I can't imagine them right now also wanting to throw in, and we're recutting the first movie at the same time.
Yeah, it also doesn't seem like with everything he's dropped, like script notes and stuff like that, it doesn't seem crazy different.
Right.
To be perfectly honest, like
it seems edited down versus like reshot a ton of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like like there's the stuff with the Joker working with Zumba Witch and stuff like that, but it does. It's also like I don't know, like a wholly different film.
I don't know if you guys watched The Tax Collector on Netflix.
I haven't seen it yet.
I avoided it.
Yeah, it's pretty much like if it was studio interference that ruined Suicide Squad for you, I guess it was somehow the same executives gave the same notes to The Tax Collector, because it is basically it's just as incoherent and just like in your face. Ooh, boy, is it in your face with a whole bunch of attitude. And Shia LaBeouf, he's going for it. He's going for something.
Got those tattoos, those real tattoos. Let me share some hopes and dreams from chat for this thing and bounce them off you guys. Lucas says, I'd like to hear something about the HBO Green Lantern and Justice League Dark shows. I know a lot of people are super excited to see Lantern stuff across the board. The show, whether or not Ryan Reynolds is going to show up in the Snyder Cut, I believe is a rumor. But I'm not the biggest Lantern guy in the world, but I mean the character has a following, so I would assume there's going to be some kind of Green Lantern goodness at this thing.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it's too early for Justice League Dark, but it could at least get a shout out. But it's worth noting Berlanti is on a panel with Jim Lee and with the head of film production, Walter Hamada, that's called Multiverse 101. Based on those three guys, I'm sure it's talking about comics, movies, and TV shows, and we're all dealing with different parts of DC. But I feel like Berlanti being on that panel also means we'll probably get him talking about. And now here's the stuff I'm working on for HBO Max, Green Lantern being kind of first and foremost.
Right. Jenna James wants Hawkman, Cyclone, Hawkwoman, Dr. Fate casting news. I wouldn't mind a good swing at Hawkman. I feel like with the take on Aquaman and Shazam, DC has proven they can just get as weird as they want with their concepts. Like, they don't have to safely tread water around Batman and street level anymore. So yeah I'm super down for just a weird Hawkman thing.
Make him an attorney at law.
Yeah.
Hey, habeas corpus.
I think that's my big question with all the stuff that doesn't have footage, and really Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, and Batman are the only things that will have new footage, and Snyder Cut. How many actual announcements will we get? And that goes for movies and TV shows, because all the TV shows haven't gone back into production because of COVID. So yeah, they can talk about our plans for next season, but will they also have some character announcements and casting as well?
Xeno Hour wants a New Gods update. We haven't really heard. That's been pretty quiet on that front, actually. So I'd be interested to see some New Gods stuff as well.
Yeah, that's right.
That's who's doing that?
Ava. Yeah,
That's Ava.
Mm-hmm. I like
Ava.
Yeah, she's a first name person.
Yeah.
It's Ava.
Any other hopes and dreams coming out of the fandom for y'all?
Anything else?
I actually would like. I know he's not assigned to a panel, but I would watch Val Kilmer just talk about Batman Forever at length. I think that would actually be a really, really fun panel.
And I would love the Keaton confirmation. I think it is going to happen. I mean, it was in one of the trades, so I think it's legit that it was in talks. And if they can make the official announce, that would be pretty cool.
I want the gritty updated take on the Wonder Twins. I want Zan to only turn into bottles of hard liquor.
That is honestly. I'd watch Snyder's Wonder Twins. I think that would be incredible. I think that would.
What are the names of the ones? Zan and Jaina.
Jaina.
Zan v Jaina.
Yeah.
Zan v Jaina. Yeah, they're not even. They don't realize they're twins at the beginning.
No.
They just know they have to fight. I'd be very into that. Most of all, I want a confirmation that they're going to do this live next year. If I don't know, the world's not on fire anymore. And I want it so much to look like that laser tag commercial from the 80s where they're all in the arena and it's a weird Mad Max place.
I think it should be on like a abandoned oil derrick, like International Water style.
I'm serious. Like, look, I don't know if you just get sponsors or if you charge for expensive tickets or whatever, but yeah, you make it an experience. You go to the desert, you go to an oil rig, I don't know, build the dome on Easter Island. You do something and you make this crazy.
So can I plug my panel?
Yes, you. Oh God, I'm so sorry, Eric. One dream we have is that our own Eric Goldman is moderating You're going
He's
to
in the dome.
That's the thing is like I'm going to be in the dome, but I don't know what the dome's like. I want to see what life in the dome is like. So yeah, I'm moderating a panel that will be on the second weekend on September 12th. It's called The Magicians of VFX, Making Supergirl and Shazam Fly. And I think it's a pretty fun panel just because it's bringing the effects team from Shazam and Supergirl together, so you're kind of getting TV show, hey, that cat wants attention. You're getting TV show and movie teams kind of who don't obviously work in the same worlds a lot, talking about the different approaches they take. But I'm fascinated to see how it comes together because I want to see what it's like when I'm in the dome,
Hell yeah. No, that'll be awesome. And again, I've said it before on this show, you moderate a hell of a panel. You're a great
thank you.
That will be super, super fun.
Thank you very much.
Take a second, call for action. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, do the things. For our third segment of the show, after we talk Pinocchio a little bit, we're going to do an AMA, so start asking those questions in the live chat, and Ryan will pull them. Thank you, Ryan. We're doing another Fandom 5 trivia show. It is next Friday, August 28th, and that one's going to be for Dragon Ball. So if you're a big DC head, this one's going to be getting crazy. A link and a landing page and stuff are coming. So we'll have all that information out later in the week. But we wanted to let you guys know it's coming ahead of time. So if you're a big Vegeta head, if you're a big Goku guy, your time has come. These shows have been super fun. So make sure you come check it out and play. Make sure you come play. Hey, Del Toro. His little
and
dream.
Joe, you do an excellent job.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate
those,
that.
by the way.
Thank you very, very much. Look, my favorite performer in Hollywood, it's well known as Tom Bergeron, and if I can emit 8% of the class and excitement that Tom Bergeron exudes at everything he does, then I'm pleased. But let's pivot for a second, guys, and talk about the Tom Bergeron of horror films, Guillermo del Toro. So this Pinocchio movie, this has been a dream of his for a while, this stop-motion animated musical. Honestly, this sounds made up, like that del Toro's doing a stop-motion musical of Pinocchio, but I'm super excited about it. It's for Netflix. They have cast a newcomer named Gregory Mann in the title role. Ewan McGregor will be coming in as the Cricket. And David Bradley from Harry Potter and Game of Thrones will be playing Geppetto.
Filch. It's Filch from Harry Potter.
Ah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Good old Filch.
Walder Frey.
Yeah,
Filch.
Walder Frey.
Yeah.
Oof.
That's a weird jump, seeing Filch and Walder Frey jump to Geppetto. But the magic of acting. The cast is bonkers. Tilda Swinton, Christoph Waltz, Finn Wolfhard, Kate Blanchett, John Turturro, Ron Perlman, Tim Blake Nelson, Bern Gorman, which is
Bern
also
Gorman.
Easily the best name in show business.
Yeah. Pacific Rim 2's Bern Gorman. The only thing I remember about that movie.
Bern Gorman, baby. I mean, this is a hell of a cast. Really, I don't know how you make this more of an interesting, hook.
Well, he wants it to. Probably the reason why it was what and passed on for so long is because he wants to make it about the rise of fascism in Italy. It's set in 1930s Italy, the rise of Mussolini, but with puppets.
Is Pinocchio killed by Nazis at the end?
Yeah, right. This could go in the hands of somebody else. It could go all sorts of wrong. But you gotta trust this guy that this is going to be fantastic. Anything he's dreaming of, you want to see on screen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The guy rarely, even his stuff that I think people consider misses, I think are still incredibly worth watching.
Yeah.
They still look beautiful. There are still elements about them that are absolutely worth your time. I don't think Del Toro has made something yet that you should just skip. Mm-hmm. And I don't think this can be any different. Something about the rise of Mussolini through the eyes of a puppet that gets turned into a donkey. I don't know how you missed this. And it's a passion project for him. This is a nice quote. It's just one of the. He's just a performer, a creator that you root for, and so this quote makes me happy. After years of pursuing this dream project, I found my perfect partner in Netflix. We spent a long time curating a remarkable cast and crew, and have been blessed by continuous support from Netflix to quietly and carefully soldier on, barely missing a beat. We all love and practice animation with great passion and believe it to be the ideal medium to retell this classic story in a completely new way. So clearly, Guillermo del Toro not having the problems with Netflix that the Avatar: The Last Airbender team was having.
No.
That's good. Yeah, he's got the blank check treatment from them, which they reserve for certain filmmakers.
Or they gave him the same notes, and he was just like, "Yeah, do it."
Yeah, I'm cool. I really like. My favorite Del Toro movie is Pan's Labyrinth. So him kind of back in dark fairy tale mode, I'm all for. By the way, I realized he worked with Walter Frey Filch on The Strain. Not a great show, but he produced it, and Walter Frey Filch was part of the cast and got to play a good guy in that. So a rare time playing a non-bastard. So that make you. But I'm with you, Joe. I think Guillermo del Toro stuff is always worth seeing. I'm actually a big fan. I know it's kind of a divisive movie, but Crimson Peak I think is great. But I think everyone would agree it's great to look at. But I'm also just into the goofy. I think it was kind of going for a very purposeful, over-the-top style that I was into. But this I think is definitely in his wheelhouse.
Peak was definitely, I think, what I had in my head. You can just put that on in the background on mute and just look at the pretty pictures, and I think your day is brightened as a result. It's a beautiful-looking movie. Spencer, Pinocchio, Del Toro, Mussolini.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that's the poster.
Del Toro, Mussolini. Is any of this working for you?
Is any of this working?
Netflix.
Netflix. One of my favorite quotes from Del Toro, or favorite quotes from anyone, is so vulgar that I cannot repeat it here without some heavy paraphrasing. Except to say that you can't perform in bed without being excited to do so. Let's just put it that way, but it's way more vulgar. But the reason it resonated with me, it's he picks projects that he is excited for and that he needs to see exist in the world. He only picks projects that really resonate with him personally, and it shows. And that's why it's not this kind of cookie cutter assembly line filmmaking. So go look up that Del Toro quote if you can, because I can't say it here without getting demonetized.
Del Toro only does work that gives him that WAP. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. In a sense. in a sense.
In a sense. And then if nothing else, this movie will give you some weird categories on your Netflix. Because you liked Mussolini?
With puppets?
With puppets? Hey, let's close this sucker out with a couple of fan questions, you guys. Sound good?
All right.
Sound good.
All right. So James Bunt asked, should the movie industry give up on blockbusters until theaters can be filled to capacity?
Yes. I mean, at least, but they can just cut out the US, right? Like, and release them in places that have this under control. But I think it's like genuinely irresponsible to release something that people want to see right now, because I don't believe in the struggling theater chains' ability to police themselves and to dissuade people from cramming into a theater together and dying.
Yeah, we're getting ever closer to having to see with Wonder Woman and Black Widow. Are these movies really opening pretty soon at this point? And I'm very doubtful. But then again, it's like, could they make that huge decision to, mostly release them overseas? I'm of the people, as someone who wants to see these movies in a theater, I'm like, just wait. But I also understand that people want to see them, and B, that the studios just want to make money at a certain point. They've spent so much, and right now they're all losing money. Mm-hmm. So I understand that's where we're going to get a lot of weird, like right now, suddenly it seems like Black Widow could have a totally different distribution plan than it ever could have if Mulan takes off. But I do think, for the time being, you'll mostly see them holding off. I'm just very curious what's going to happen with some of these much more immediate ones. I mean, hell, this isn't blockbuster level, but it seemed interesting that Death on the Nile has a new trailer. Like, again, Disney released 20th Century Fox movie, or 20th Century Studios. Is that even coming out in a few weeks? It's going to be a strange fall, but I think we're probably going to have some more delays with those mega movies like Wonder Woman and Black Widow.
Lisa Mortini says, "What's on Joe's mug? I'm too drunk to read it." Lisa, hey.
That's our audience.
Living your best life.
It's afternoon somewhere.
My mug says, "The world's okayest dungeon master," which is true. Let us know in the chat what you're drinking. And salute. Sammy says, what movie or TV show caused you to want to work in this industry? Ooh, that's good.
Wow.
I'm just so basic here with Star Wars, but it was just so defining for my childhood. It's all like my mom and I joke about, like, when her friends would come over and having me act out the I Am Your Father scene for her friends when I was like 5 years old. I was just like so all in on it. And then that's, I think, what got me into how did they make it, and watching the behind the scenes specials that would air on TV and stuff like that. So it all came from Star Wars. Yeah,
I think, look, I've always loved comedy, and all sorts of shows were influential on me. But the one that made me do what I do was in college. I worked on the comedy paper, and our editor-in-chief graduated and got a job writing on The Office. And I was like, wait, this is a job? You can do this for work?
Wow.
Oh my God, this changes everything. So I guess it was The Office?
Yeah, hey. I think SNL was, I think, my first thing that I really loved about TV, that I had a really strong interest in. But I think The State on MTV was more like, oh, this is more my sense of humor, and these people I would probably try to hang out with, that made it more accessible to me, I think. And then probably with stand-up, I think growing up, when I was younger, you see Eddie Murphy's Delirious, or Steve Martin's specials, or any of the greats, they still felt like stand-up didn't really register with me, because when you see those people's specials, that's oh, this legend decided to rent a theater and tell jokes. That's kind of how I saw it. And then the first HBO comedy special I ever saw was Eddie Griffin's Voodoo Child. And I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. I loved it so much. I should thank God there are no video clips existing of a sophomore in high school Joe quoting all of Eddie Griffin's Voodoo Child by heart because I knew it backwards and frontwards.
I think it's a shame. That doesn't exist.
Oh no, it's I like my job. But yeah, so weirdly, yeah, it was an Eddie Griffin special about how he thinks the clitoris should be giant, is so that he can box with it. Is what, that I would quote to my parents every day. Is what made me really want to do comedy and realize it was a thing that I could do.
Wow.
Jared Johnson says, "Is it possible to get a Joe Talks anime segment?" I would more call it, is there a segment we could do where I just talk about things and Spencer sort of sighs through them?
Only if it's only wrestling. It's just and I know I'm surrounded by wrestling fans. Eric,
Literally, yes.
Eric, I know. Danielle, I mean,
Eric Renee Young put in her 2 weeks. Anyway.
I know. I had a sad tweet about it.
Honestly, there are better people to go. I'm a real basic B with anime. My knowledge ain't that deep. I just like it. Probably my wife should do a talk anime thing because normally she starts one and then I sit down and go, "This looks fun," and I attach myself to her like a parasite. So you should probably just stick with Emma Fife on the anime. But thank you. Saket Sharma says, "What movie did you think had so much potential but the execution ruined it?" For him, it's a Netflix movie called The Discovery, which I don't think I've heard of. It had a great premise, but the movie was super slow and boring. God, I mean, there's probably plenty. The execution crushing a cool premise.
I have one that really jumps out to me as far as just a movie I was so hyped up for, and I don't even hate it. It's just which is Tomorrowland. Just because it was like made for me. Like, it's based on a Disneyland thing. Brad Bird is directing it. I'm a big Damon Lindelof fan, and I think people have come around on him because of Leftovers and Watchmen, but I was more of like, hey, Lost is great. But it just didn't work. It just didn't come together. It just felt like something wasn't working there, even though all the lead up, I was there for the D23 panel and all the stuff. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be great. It's going to be awesome. And then the movie comes out. That didn't really work.
Yeah, look, all the love and respect to Dan Murrell, but it's a moment like this where I'm so glad I get to say La La Land. La La Land sucks, man. That movie is dog shit. That movie, I love Damien Chazelle. I love Los Angeles. But man, what a wet blanket. They can't sing, they can't dance. The ending's cool, fine. But man, you want to see a bad musical? Go watch La La Land, you jerks.
After your thoughts on Hamilton and La La Land this week, maybe we should have Spencer on musicals.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I think
if you can even call La La Land a musical.
I thought you were going to say Jaws. That was
no, I know.
Amazing.
That's what I thought too. By the way, I was like, "Oh,
Jaws
whoa,
is amazing. Come on."
Well, with the Merle build-up, I thought you were going to say Jaws.
Yeah.
Like, right now, Scott Manson's coming for you.
Right.
I should say Mance. Yeah.
Hug you into submission. That
I don't care what date it was released. It sucks any day of the week. The
one I'm trying to think of something that I just haven't already kicked the dead horse out of. John Carter, maybe.
Another. We both picked movies from Pixar alums who've directed amazing movies.
Oh right, yeah. I mean, John Carter had such an uphill battle because it's like the one that everybody else based their sci-fi epics off of. So, but of course, most audience members don't know that, so they're like, "Well, this feels derivative." It just needed an extra layer of style or something, because what you got was something that just, because it was the cookie cutter blueprint of all big epic sci-fi adventures, what you got just felt like a cookie cutter blueprint, and it just, I don't know, it just needed something. It just needed a little zhuzh. I don't know, just like maybe a more stylistic director or something like that. Give John Carter to Raimi or what's his name that did Mandy. I'll watch that John Carter of Mars.
Yes. I would watch that as well.
Absolutely. And then let's wrap up. Here's a nice question. Chid asked, "What is the best movie of this year that you've seen?" Oh, wait! Before we do this, we have a Lisa update. Lisa opened up a nice red at 5:30 p.m. Did not look back, and her dog is judging her right now. Well, Lisa, you're getting no judgment here.
No judgment.
Drink up.
No.
And a little toast to this question: what is the best movie this year that you've seen so far?
First of all, I'm mad at Letterboxd because they're down for maintenance as I was trying to look at my diary to see what I've seen on Letterboxd.
Oh, the one time you actually see Letterboxd.
Yes. So I've been trying to keep up with my diary this year.
This is not fair.
Like
Spencer?
a 2020 release or just a movie I've seen this year? Which was it?
Let's say 2020 release. I think that's what they're getting at.
I really liked Color Out of Space. Nick Cage fights the color pink. That's pretty
That
cool.
was fun. Yep.
That was fun. I loved Palm Springs. Not Palm Springs. That's just a fun comedy.
Yep.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
God, what else is there? Come back. Let me think back to I need to look up what happened at the beginning of the year in the before times.
The before times. From the before times, I will say Birds of Prey, which again I'd been pretty hard to please on the DC movie front, and then I just really dug that movie. I thought it was a hell of a good time. I watched it many times since, and I enjoyed every time. And then during the now times, the Demic times, Palm Springs as well. I will second the delightfulness of that. It gets really emotional in the second half, and I think it earns it. And I loved Host. I was so impressed with what could have been a gimmick being like a legit scary movie.
Host was super cool. Yeah, thank you for making me watch Host, Eric.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome.
Well, we have a review of Host that's hidden in is it the American Pickle review?
American Pickle review.
Yes.
Watch the American Pickle review. They also then review Host at the end.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Easter egg.
Yeah, I was going to say, along with Host, this year has been a night, maybe because there's not just a bunch of blockbusters rolling out that grab all my attention, but I've been able to watch just a lot of smaller genre stuff that I really, I wouldn't recommend as like, this is the best movie of the year, but just I've had a really good time. Like, I love Betty Gilpin in The Hunt.
Yes.
I thought she was so fun. I liked Underwater. I thought that was a very fun little genre movie. Fantasy Island, I thought was a nice, silly little bloodbath. I think we've had a real nice time for the B movie genre. Being able to step up a little bit.
And I will second a Roth recommendation that was I'm still thinking about since I saw it like a couple months ago. First Cow. I think First Cow is certainly a slow burn. Not even a burn. It's like a nice simmer. And it is just like it's a movie that really sticks with you. It's very unhurried. So you might tune out a little bit, but if you give it your focus, you will be rewarded. I mean, it takes place like in the 1800s, maybe, I don't know dates, on like the frontiers of the Pacific Northwest, and like you are going at the pace of life in that time. But I found it beautiful, and it stuck with me. So check that one out.
Right
I've
on.
also been watching a lot of docu-series. This is a movie-specific question. I will say I just watched Howard on Disney Plus, which is about Howard Ashman. Documentary about him.
Oh, it was so good.
And it's great. Yeah, it's great. And then, of course, at the end come the waterworks. Really well done.
Speaking, let's just keep going. Speaking of docuseries, I would be remiss if I did not recommend the new Helter Skelter Manson documentary series, which is actually really interesting and really demystifies the guy a lot. So many people are just like, oh, he got into people's heads, man. And like, he literally, it's fascinating. They're literally like, no, during one of his prison stints, he memorized the book, How to Succeed in Business and Influence People, or whatever that famous book's called. It really demystifies the guy, and it's a really interesting look. And produced by Howard Rudnick's delightful wife, Rebecca. So definitely go check that out. I'd be remiss if I didn't recommend that. It's been really interesting.
And not to be a Disney Plus shill, but Into the Unknown, the docuseries about the making of Frozen 2, even if you don't like Frozen 2, is really good and much more candid than you might expect as far as like actually showing conflict and how much concern and is this not working at all, and like kind of really being there for meetings on such a huge movie. I was kind of impressed how
I've
much
been
they
meaning to watch that one because Nicholson was tweeting. Jenny Nicholson was tweeting about it, and just like 4 months out, they still didn't have a final script, and just
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff in there when they show some real like stressful moments they have making a movie that big. I was glad that they let them show as much as they did.
truly they were going into the unknown. Spencer J. Gilbert, wave to the people.
Hasta la vista.
Eric, say goodnight to Lisa.
Good night to Lisa. Farewell.
Guys, that's our show. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.